Okay, we are back for week 2, and all 4 of these videos this week should be much shorter than those introductory videos from last week. Now, last time we showed you the 4 main parries, 3, 4, 2, 7. The high outside, the high inside, the low outside, the low inside. And we did direct parries, moving back and forth from 3 to 4 and from 2 to 7. But now we're going to do some indirect parries and see what happens when you not only have to switch sides, but also switch from high to low or low to high. Let's take a look. So let's say you have just parried an attack on your high outside line, parry 3. Then they do an around the body cut and they're now going to attack your left hip. Well, it doesn't make sense to bring the sword back here like this. Because if you do that, there's a very good chance that their blade is going to sneak in underneath your sword, and then you're grabbing their sword and pulling it in close towards you. You're catching their sword in between you and your sword, so it's stuck there. This is bad news for both of you. It totally makes the fight look ridiculous, and it's not safe. Instead, we need to push outwards, away from our body. Every parry is always going to be a movement outwards, away from your center. And for that reason, on every single parry, you always need to do what's called crossing your heart. It's also known as crossing your center line. And we've been doing that with our direct parries. So my parry 3 is over on this side, and as I move it to go into parry 4, I am crossing my heart, or crossing my center line, and now my sword is pushing away from my center, to push their sword away from me. Same thing if I was going from 2 to 7. I am going across my heart and pushing it away. Now it's a little trickier though if I start here from 3 and need to end up with 7. So what I need to do is I need to start by moving my sword out, away from me, and that will give me the opportunity to switch from high to low and to change my wrist from pronated to supinated. And I'm doing that offline, so my sword does not go in front of my partner's face. It goes off here. So the tip of the sword goes out, and then I drop from high to low, and I supinate my wrist. And now the sword changes direction as I cross my heart and push my blade away from me to push their parry away from me as I reach into 7. So it looks like this. I'm parrying 3. I weight shift out as I push the blade away, supinate, weight shift back, cross my heart into parry 7. Now if I want to go back the same way, I can't just reverse that, because if I reverse that, I'm again reaching out, grabbing their blade and pulling it in towards me. I don't want to do that. Instead, I need to do the same thing where I push the tip of the blade out, change from low to high as I pronate my wrist, and now I can weight shift back and bring the sword back into parry 3. So I weight shift out, bring the sword out, switch, push it across. Weight shift forward, bring the sword out, switch, weight shift back, bring it across. Now as I do this, I am making a really large oval with the tip of my blade. See how I'm making a large oval with the tip of my blade? That's why these parries are also known as circular parries. One indirect parry is a half circular parry. And then I can make a full circle by finishing that with another parry. Okay? Half circle here, half circle here. They're indirect parries. They are also known as half counter parries because the blade counters itself by changing direction. It goes out one way and then it changes direction to go the other way. And so we can use these indirect parries to go from 3 to 7, and it really does feel like a golf swing. It's a very nice, fluid, flashy looking motion that's very comfortable. And we can also go from 4 to 2. Same thing. I bring the tip of the blade out, switch the wrist, bring the blade up, across my heart. Out, pronate, across. Out, supinate, across. And again, I'm making that big oval. And I'm using my weight shifts. Now this can be a little bit tricky to wrap your head around, but once you figure it out, it feels so good. It really should feel right. It should look flashy, feel good, and remember, you're always pressing the blade out away from you. press their parry out away, never, never, ever reach out and bring their sword towards you. Okay, so what I would like you to film yourself doing is please do these indirect parries several times from 3 to 7, back to 3, back to 7, and then show me going back and forth between parries 4 and 2 with weight shifts with these indirect parries. Thank you very much.